speaker. I would like to invite Rabbi Shumley Boteach. He's an American Orthodox rabbi, author, TV host, and public speaker. Boteach is the author of 30 books, including Kosher Sex, A Recipe for Passion Intimacy, published in 1999, and Kosher Jesus. Please, come up. Thank you very much for coming. We all really appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to begin by offering thanks to New York's finest, the police officers who are here to protect us today. Guys, I'm sorry you're not watching the football game. We apologize. Go Giants! Go Jets! But when we have to disrupt the normal recreational activities that we would do on the Sunday afternoon to highlight a greater crisis. My kids are here today because I want them to understand that it is a privilege to be a Jew, but it comes with responsibilities. And it has often been accompanied by unbridled and irrational hatred. I am not here to condemn CNN as supporting terror. I'm a regular guest on CNN, and I thank them for having me as a guest. I am not here to condemn MSNBC. I am not here to condemn any media organ. On the contrary, I am here to celebrate them. We live in a democratic country where we have the right to get up in the organs of the media and express our opinion without fear. Why don't our Arab brothers and sisters have that same right under the dictators and under the tyrannies that they live? Why do 22 Palestinians get bullets to the head and extrajudicial killings accused of being collaborators by Hamas, when often they are gay men and women? 2 women were also executed on false charges of collaboration because they are denied the basic rights that each and every one of us takes for granted here in the United States. I am here to call upon the media organs of the United States to highlight the persecution, the oppression, the denial of basic liberties that has become so rampant in the Middle East and that wants to export itself even to places right here in New York City. We're here just a few days after 9/11, when 3,000 innocent Americans were incinerated in 2,000-degree jet-fueled fire and heat for no other sin than wanting to get up early to feed their families, to pay their mortgages. And they were the victims of hatred because they were the citizens of a free democracy that seeks to liberate Muslims in the Middle East. And my friends, through all these crimes and through all the brutality of beheadings by monstrous organizations like ISIS, that yesterday beheaded an innocent British citizen and last week beheaded an innocent Israeli-American citizen, and 3 weeks ago beheaded yet another American journalist. Throughout these crimes, the people who have unfortunately always been the canaries in the coal mine have been the Jewish people. We have been the ones who have been the first targets of extremism. We are the ones who have been magnets for intolerance. We are the ones whom those who seek to impose the dark cloud of evil on the world always first seek to obliterate and annihilate. Hitler was not a menace to the Jewish people. Hitler was a menace to the world. But when he passed the Nuremberg laws, when he shut down Jewish businesses, when he denied Jewish professorships, when he passed vile racial laws, people saw it as a Jewish issue. And we dare not see anti-Semitism as purely a Jewish fight. On the contrary, the specter of Islamist terrorism is coming to a theater near you. And Israel may be its first target, but as we learned on 9/11, America is the next target. And after that we learned that Britain was the next target. And after that we learned that Spain was the next target. And now even Muslim countries in the Middle East are joining President Obama's call to fight ISIS because they understand that even Arabs are not safe from Arab terrorism. On the contrary, in places like Iraq, it is our Muslim brothers and sisters who are being blown up by these bloodthirsty terrorists who have always marked the Jews as their first targets. My friends, I ask a just and righteous world, especially living in the Western world, who believe in women's rights, how could you support Hamas over Israel when they subject women to honor killings for simply falling in love with a man who is not of their choosing? I ask my friends in the West, how could you support Hamas over Israel when Hamas will take gay men and slaughter them for no other reason than their sexual orientation, murder in cold blood? What happened to all the rights that we believe in here in the West? I ask my friends in the West, how could you not stand up for the Jewish state of Israel as it faces a genocidal war by an organization with a genocidal covenant that calls on Muslims to look behind trees and find every last Jew hiding behind them, calling for the slaughter, murder, annihilation of Jews, not just in Jerusalem, not just in Tel Aviv, not just in Sderot, not just in Beersheba, but in New York, in Kansas City, and in Rio de Janeiro, and wherever they are to be found. The global scourge of anti-Semitism, which is now being paraded on the streets of London, which is now finding expression on the Champs-Elysees. To hear once again on Unter den Linden in Berlin that Hamas, we need more poison gas. It's even a bad rhyme, let alone a genocidal call to murder. Who would have believed in the year 2014, 70 years after the liberation of Auschwitz, that we would be hearing for the call of the extermination and gassing of Jews yet again on the streets of Berlin? Who would have believed that 70 years after Majdanek, Sobibor, Grossrosen, that we would be hearing on the streets of Germany the call for Jews to be burned into ash? Who would have believed that 70 years after Dachau and Majdanek and Treblinka, that we would hear the call for Jews and their children to have their lungs filled with poison gas? In places like Dresden and Leibniz and Frankfurt. My God, is there no justice? Is there no justice? And where is the outrage, my friends? Where is the outrage?
Right here.
I stand as an American with the glorious, majestic, righteous, just, democratic, free state of Israel. I stand as an American with the human rights loving, women honoring, gay respecting, freedom loving, democracy adhering, majestic state of Israel. I stand as an American with the freedom of press loving, loving, freedom of worship loving, open, liberty loving democracy that is the only free country in the Middle East, the glorious state of Israel. And I condemn, as an American, in the strongest terms, in the freedom of the cathedral of a city that grants me the right to get on a platform with a megaphone and speak my mind because I live in a free country, I ask that God bless America. America, that bastion of freedom, liberty, and human rights. America that lost 5,000 brave men and women, liberating our Iraqi brothers and sisters from the tyranny of a man who had killed 1 million Muslims. America that marches into the Middle East to destroy ISIS, that beheads Christians living in the Middle East, that crucifies children. What a glorious country we live in. It is therefore no surprise that the greatest friend Israel has ever had is the United States of America. And ladies and gentlemen, if we are to incite the blessings, if we are to quote the blessings, as we did in yesterday's Torah reading, that on Har Gerizim and Har Eval, the mountain of blessing, the mountain of curses, we must also offer condemnation of those who represent precisely the opposite of all the freedoms that we just listed. I condemn with every fiber of my being. I deplore with every strand of my DNA. I decry with every molecule that constitutes who I am the bloodthirsty Hamas death cult that is fueled by hatred of Jews rather than love of Palestinians. The Palestinians and every Arab child is a child of God. It was we the Jews who taught in the first chapter of Genesis that every human being is created equally in the image of God. My fight will never be with my Arab brothers and sisters. It will be with Arab terror groups who are devoted to the annihilation of the Jewish people, who are a menace to the Palestinians, who couldn't give a darn about the freedom of the Palestinians, who take every dollar given to them by the UN a couple of blocks away, or by the State Department, or by Britain, the EU, and they use it not to build hospitals, not to build infirmaries, not to build colleges, not to build schools, not to build nurseries, but to buy bombs and bullets and concrete tunnels in order to kill Jews, annihilate Jews, slaughter more Jews, and that is their only purpose. I condemn in the strongest possible language the government of Iran. The government of Iran that purports to have come into existence to address the human rights abuses of the Shah. And my father was born in Isfahan in Iran. And how did they address the human rights abuses, the savak of the Shah? By giving us the theocracy of the mullahs that would take an innocent woman and stone her to death on false charges of adultery brought by a husband who simply wants to get rid of her. We who were disgusted by the video of Ray Rice punching his fiancée. We who love football, who should be watching it right now on a Sunday afternoon, but who were prepared to go along with the league's decision to remove a star running back because he had hit a woman. Where is the outrage for a government that stones women? Where is the outrage for a government that will have little children, boys, pick up a stone and throw it at their mother's head when she has no possibility of truly defending herself when her husband wants to marry someone younger and has her stoned to death because he charges her with false allegations of infidelity? This is Stone Age brutality, my friends. Where is the outrage? In a city In a city where millions of people every summer will march in a gay pride parade, where gay men and women can openly express their identity. Where is the outrage that in the public squares of Tehran and Isfahan, that gays hang from cranes in the street on charges of filthy immoral practices, abominations, hanging from cranes in the street? Where is the outrage, my friends?
Right here, yeah!
Where is the outrage at the UN, where the world leaders are about to gather in a week's time, when one UN member state, the terrorist Islamic government of Iran, threatens a fellow member state, the Jewish state of Israel, repeatedly with annihilation, nuclear destruction, genocide? How is it that the president of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Hassan Rouhani, will be allowed to speak from the rostrum of the UN while he and his puppet master, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, call for the annihilation of the Jewish state of Israel? Where is the outrage?
Right here!
Where is the justice? My friends, I see a world of equal rights for all. I see a world where the Jewish universal teaching found in the very first chapter of the Bible, in Genesis, that God created every man, woman, and child, black, white, Jew, Muslim, Christian, Protestant, Catholic, Asian. Help me here! Hindu, Buddhist, atheist, agnostic, Baha'i. I see a world where every single one of God's children, enumerated and those too numerous to be enumerated, are treated with equal human rights, where no person raises their child to dislike a Jew or dislikes an African American or an African or a Hindu or an immigrant. I see a world where we all teach our children to find the infinite spark of the divine. Anti-Semitism has gone on for too long. It is the world's oldest hatred. I am tired, my friends. I am tired of raising my kids in a world where they go on the website and the iPad and all the magical media forms given to us by technology, and the first thing they read every morning is that this person has called for the annihilation of the Jewish people. I am tired of them reading that Israel is condemned day and night. Do you know that Bashar al-Assad has yet to be condemned once by the United Nations for the 150,000 people that he's killed? Not once, because the Security Council has blocked any condemnation, any criticism, any censure. China has blocked it, Russia has blocked it, but Israel gets criticized every time someone makes a cappuccino at the UN. I'm tired of my children having to grow up feel like they're inferior. I'm tired of my children having to grow up fearing that just because they bear the name Jew, they will be a magnet for hatred. I'm tired of my son who's at NYU having to go to a university where all he hears is chants for BDS against Israel because of the occupation. Those same people calling for the BDS boycott of Israel are using iPhones made in China, occupying Tibet since 1954. But nobody gives a damn, because BDS isn't about protecting Palestinians. It's about Jew hatred, plain and simple. I'm tired of my children having to pay a price for being a Jew. I want them to be proud of who they are. In the same way I want every African American child to be proud of who he is. Every Christian to embrace his faith. Every Muslim to embrace a peace-loving Islam. And let us Jews never forget that it was Muslims who took in Jews when they were expelled from Spain in 1492, from Portugal a few years later. It was Muslims who created a tolerant, cosmopolitan society with the greatest Jewish thinker that ever lived, Moses Maimonides. In Spain, prior to Muslim extremists destroying the modern Islam that prevailed on the Iberian Peninsula. It was a Muslim ruler, Sultan Salah al-Din, arguably the greatest Muslim ruler of all time, that chose Maimonides, a rabbi, as his personal physician and treated him with dignity, affection, and respect. May God bless America. May God bless the state of Israel. May God bless every man, woman, and child who reaches out and sees the divine spark in every other man, woman, and child. God bless you.